To improve the colour choices that we make and our colour mixing, it's a good idea to familiarise yourself with the colour wheel. By understanding the colour wheel, it makes life so much easier when making these choices. Although colours themselves are a very personal thing and we all have our individual favourites, colour theory is something that we can all learn, and especially as a beginner it is really important. I can't stress that enough, because it helps you so much making those choices, and your painting process becomes quicker and easier because you're not having to think about it all the time. I will go into this in more detail in future videos, but today I really wanted to simplify things and bring it right back to just looking at the opposites on the colour wheel, because that is so handy in so many things that we do. So if we think about the three primary colours, we've obviously got blue and red and yellow, very easy to remember. And then our secondary colours are just those mixed together. So we have our red and our blue to make purple or violet, however you want to call it. Our yellow and our blue to make green, sorry I'm having to think now, and our red and our yellow to make orange. So your purple, your orange and your green are your secondary colours. So that's just 6 colours to remember on the colour wheel as a beginner. And if you familiarise yourself with which ones are opposite on the colour wheel, and I would suggest that you print one off, or you paint one actually, or get your felt tips out, your crayons out, whatever you want to do to make yourself a colour wheel. Make one and keep it somewhere handy. You could keep a copy in the front of your sketchbook, you could pop it up on the wall, but keep a colour wheel handy so you can just glance at it as you're working. There are 2 ways that we can use those opposites. One is to sit them next to each other on the canvas or paper, and that way they will kind of clash or show each other off, if that's a way of putting it. So you make a really vibrant painting and your painting really comes to life. So by putting the 2 colours that are opposite each other next to each other in your painting, using them together in your painting, it's going to be quite vibrant and lively. So that's one way to use them. The other way is when we come to our colour mixing, and this is really why you need to remember them. So if you've got a blue and you're doing a sky and you think this is really too blue, it's too artificial looking, it's too bright, look at what's on the opposite to that on the colour wheel, and that is orange. Get a tiny bit of orange paint and mix it into that blue, and it kind of neutralises it. So it's a bit contradictory to those 2 clashing colours. Added together are actually making things calmer and more neutral. So it seems a bit of an anathema, but that's how it works. So by remembering it, we can make life so much easier. And I have mentioned this before with your greens, when you're doing grasses, very often you'll go to an exhibition and you'll think these grasses are too bright, too vibrant, and they look too artificial. It doesn't matter, sometimes you might like it like that, and that's absolutely fine. Art is a very subjective thing and you use what you enjoy. But if you want to knock that green back a bit and make it a little bit more subtle, just choose a red from your palette and add a tiny bit of red to your green and see the difference. And this works with every opposite. So as the colour wheel builds up and we go on to those tertiary colours, etc., you can just look at it and think, right, I'm going to pop a little bit of the opposite in it to help it. But don't just take my word for it, have a go yourself. Make some swatches up, keep a notebook, keep notes of the colours that you think work well together, get one of your greens out and add a little bit of red to it and see that subtle difference. And see by how increasing that amount of red you change that green. So you'll notice in the painting behind here that I've got a lot of blue in the sky, and then I've got an orange sunrise, and I've got orange in the foreground, lots of orange and yellows mixed with those blues, and that makes it really come to life in a really bright, vibrant painting. So it might not be completely realistic and you might not like that, but it does make things pop out. So if you want to be really vibrant and bright, think about putting those colours next to each other as well. So there's 2 ways you can use those colours, and have a go at both of those next time you get your paints out. And after we've been doing that for a while and we've become very familiar with our opposites, we'll notice them in everyday life as well and how they work together. So every morning I put green makeup on my very red cheeks, and that is to neutralise them, and it works in exactly the same way, and it's the same thing. And you will have noticed something called purple shampoo. Now if you're grey like I am and those go a bit yellowy, because yellow is opposite to purple on the colour wheel, the purple tones down that yellow in the grey hair and makes it much more silvery. So all these things are used, this theory, once we understand it, we'll notice it around us and we can use it in our paintings and our artworks. And of course, colour and design and the clashing colours or the contrasting colours, I mean the real word is contrasting, I say clashing because it's making a big statement, but contrasting colours are everywhere. They may be in our curtains, and everything around us is designed by somebody who's thought about the colours. So look at clothes in the shops, look at magazine covers. Everything that we have around us is designed, and see how people put colours together, and that will help you with your own colour choices. So I will talk about colour in more depth another time, perhaps about receding colours and colours that come forward and things like that. But it is really important to understand that colour wheel, print yourself one off and familiarise yourself with it. Okay, so I know it's a quick video today, but it's something I've been asked about quite a bit recently and I thought it might be helpful to you. So thanks for watching, I'll be back again soon. Bye bye for now.